Hey guys, welcome back. As part of this video, we're gonna create one single page web application using Angular 2 and TypeScript. And anyway, Angular 2 uses TypeScript internally. So before creating the project, we need to know the prerequisites of this project, and you don't need to have prior knowledge of TypeScript. So let's look at the prerequisites first. So you need to install three things. First is you need to install Node.js. If you have not installed Node.js, you can go to nodejs.org and can install the Node.js for Mac or Windows, whatever you are using for your development. And then you need to install TypeScript and then Angular CLI. We are going to use Angular CLI for creating an Angular project. So to install Angular TypeScript, you need to do npm I TypeScript -g, or you can do npm I for install. Even you can do install. It's up to you. Then you can do npm install Angular CLI -g. So it will install the Angular CLI in global mode so that you can use the CLI commands from your shell, basically from your terminal. And to verify whether your node is installed or npm is installed, you can do npm -v and node -v. So if you're getting the versions, then you're good. You don't need to reinstall again. But if you're not getting the versions number, then you have some problem. You need to reinstall again. You can do tsc -v. Will give you the TypeScript version as well. Anyway, so let's create the project by using our Angular CLI command. Then we'll walk through this components and the files which will be created as part of this. So I'll do ng-new, and I said we're gonna create a single page of applications. We may not be able to cover as part of this video everything, but we're gonna create the new components in the next video. So stay tuned for the next video. But let's look at the simple applications which we'll be creating right now. So let's call this as employee management. emp. Okay. While creating this project, let me remind you once again, if you are installing Angular CLI instead without installing TypeScript, you may get an exception. You will get an exception because Angular 2 uses TypeScript, as I mentioned earlier. So you make sure first you install TypeScript, then you install Angular CLI. And let me talk about TypeScript. TypeScript is a superset of ES6, which is developed by Microsoft. Okay, and we'll talk about more on TypeScript when we'll play around with the project. So let's wait for the project to be created as scaffolding. Then we'll run this project. Then we'll go over the classes, the HTML components, and the components in detail, and the app module. And let me tell you, TypeScript uses Webpack internally. If you want to know more about Webpack, you can go to my website ninjatechtips.com and you can learn about Webpack, or you can go to Google and type Webpack and to know how Webpack is used for building. It's like Gulp, Grunt, if you're aware of already. Those tools, Webpack does the same thing. It's a more advanced. It has more advanced features. So TypeScript uses, Angular CLI uses Webpack internally, and also it uses Node server, by using which we can. So now project got created. Let's go to that project and then do ng serve to launch our application. Okay, got started. Now let's go to local. Okay, our application is up and running right now. So now let's go and look at the project. So I'm using Atom Editor. I'm using Atom for developing this project. So Atom Editor is pretty friendly, like user friendly for developing this Angular project, because it has a TypeScript and there's a TypeScript package which you can install. If you want to know how to install the package and all, you can go to preference and install the package, or you can Google and you can find out how to install the packages for TypeScript and all. So now let's look at this, the components. So to start this Angular app, it needs main.ts and index.html file, and how it works, let's take a look. So Angular is a module-based application, module-based framework, and it uses the root module, which is called app module.ts, which gets created, and then app module.ts gets bootstrapped by the main.ts file, and we'll talk about in detail. Let's look at the app module.ts, which got created as part of the scaffolding. Here, if you look at it, it has a bunch of import commands, and then we have the ng module decorator. Ng module @ identifies or defines the decorator. We'll talk about the decorator maybe in the later part of videos. What is the decorator means? So this is uh, the functionality which has been proposed for ES7 to include ES7, which is already implemented in TypeScript. But this is a decorator which contains the metadata information of the component. So app module, this is the ng module is for Angular module. So every Angular application needs a root module, which is the app module, and which is a few things we're going to discuss right now. It has a few attributes called declarations, imports, providers, and bootstraps. What are those? So declarations means for registering the app component. Here, app component is a root component which got created as part of a scaffolding of our project. Then we have imported the browser module from the platform browser package, and we have the providers. It's empty right now because right now what we're trying to do is we are going to hard code our data, the employee data, to display the employee information as per the department. So we are not making any web service calls. So this we don't have any services yet created. So the next video we're going to create some services. We'll make HTTP calls to the web service to get some response there. We'll define the providers inside the array, and then the bootstrap where we define the app component, which initialize the app component. So so that's about this one. And then next is export class app module. So export keyword is used for the class. The reason is we can refer these classes in other components on other files by using import command. For example, if you look at the main.ts, here we're using import app module. If you do not define the export class here, you cannot import in main.ts file. So what happens in main.ts? As I said, main.ts is used during the startup of your Angular application. So main.ts is also a bunch of import statements which basically import, enable, throw mode, or platform browser dynamic, and then app module, then environment, all this. Then you do platform browser dynamic, then bootstrap module. So we are bootstrapping the app module to launch the web application, to launch the Angular applications. So this is the work of main.ts. Okay, we can go into the detail when we'll start developing a new component, but this one main.ts does. It bootstrap the app module to launch the Angular application. This is what you just need to know. And platform browser dynamic and all, as Angular uses the, based on the environment, it uses the, there is a browser environment. It's a environment specific to browser or server. Based on that, you can import those libraries and you can use. So right now, as we are running the application in the browser, so we need a platform browser or browser module. Yeah, so now let's look at the core component, our app component. As we said, it registers the app component. Let's look at the app component, what it contains, right? If you look at the app component, here there are three things. First is the import the component, and then at that component is a component decorator, which identifies this is a component class. So this portion we we call this in Angular as a metadata. And here it contains a selector, template URL, style URLs. So selector, it defines the components directives which Angular uses to know what HTML to be loaded. So this is app root, and then this is the template URL. Even you can define the inline template by using template, and you can do like your own template like this. Give hello, like this you can do. If you do this, so this gets updated and this got generated. Now if you look at here, you can define the inline template as I said, but it's not recommended because when your HTML grows, you cannot, it's for the maintenance perspective, it's not good. So it's better to use template URL. Style URLs is meant for what style sheet is used for this particular component. And then export class, here you use the export class, export keyword as I said, to make this component available outside of this class or outside the file. For example, in app module.ts, we are importing this app component. So yeah, that's all about this particular simple applications that we were running. Stay tuned for the next set of next videos where we're going to create our own component, which is called employee management, where we'll create our own models, one department models, one employee models. In employee model, we'll have a logical data attributes which will be displaying in the browser as part of like employee name, salary, age, whatever informations. So and we'll create our own component, our own template. So stay tuned for the next video, and keep watching. Thanks for watching for and learning this Angular 2 application.